Hello, Buzz. How are you doing?
Good morning, Vlad. Bom dia.
Bom dia.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me, what are you doing here?
Well, what I'm doing here is one of my customers said that I had to meet you, talk to you, find you, because you were the guy. You were the guy who was working on thinking about Evernote and all the things you can do around Evernote. I think of Evernote as being the mother of all filing cabinets. And, we've been tracking Evernote for a long, long time because it's so useful, so valuable, and so important to just stuff. And so with ActiveWords, which we're going to walk through today, we built a bunch of ActiveWords that do things in Evernote, and we think we do them very efficiently and powerfully. And but anyway, so what's ActiveWords?
Before that, who is Buzz?
Who's Buzz? Well, he is a tall, aging guy in Seattle who spent one lifetime practicing law and who last year in law school took a year of computer programming. And that was back in the day with punch cards, reams of paper. And at the end of that year of computer science, I basically resolved that I was never going to write another line of code. I just looked at how horrible these tools were. And I just, oh God, it was like a permanent migraine headache to use these tools. And then computers kept getting better. And then we had the Apple IIe. And I even think I look over your shoulder and there's like an Apple IIe.
Yeah, there.
It's
working. It's a working one.
But what I realized along the way was how important databases are. And for, lack of a better term, Evernote is this brilliant database. Mm-hmm. And ActiveWords is a database too, but they do different things. So with ActiveWords, I can type a letter, a word, or an acronym in any app, anytime, anywhere, and it will do things. And if we go to Notepad, just so everybody on the screen can see it, we do 8 things, okay?
Okay.
And these 8 things are text expansion, launch apps, launch Windows Store apps, open docs, folders, URLs, substitute content, and a scripting language. And today, one of the things we're going to talk about, and I'm going to show you, is how we've used the scripting language inside Evernote to do some pretty elegant things, which will be, catnip to Evernote users. For example, I can be in the middle of this document and type NN, and that's going to create a new note in Evernote.
Wow.
What just happened is that I have associated in my mind NN with new note in Evernote. And I don't have to look for Evernote down in my system tray. And really, more importantly, when I type that NN, I've substituted something that makes sense to me with a script that would be, lower the control key down, lower the alt key down, hit the letter N, let the alt key up, and let the control key up.
Okay, I have some questions there. So the first question is, you of course created those shortcuts, right?
Right.
And in the very beginning, if people didn't notice it, you just typed 8. Was that you typed to bring the 8 topics?
Correct. I typed the number 8 because I've just associated 8 with this text expansion. When I'm talking to somebody about this and they say, well, what does ActiveWords do? And I say, well, we do 8 things. Word 8 and it's done.
So one thing I noticed that is pretty interesting is that the 8 is gone and also the NN is gone. So when you type that, it do what it has to do and the text is erased. Okay, that's pretty cool.
So what I've done is I bypassed how many steps? I bypassed the step of stopping, staring, looking at the system tray, trying to remember, oh, here's the Evernote icon. As compared to the 1Password icon or the calculator icon or whatever. I don't have to. All I have to do is just do it.
And then you have to go inside the app and click new note and then start typing the note.
Right. With our scripting language, there's a handful of things that I do all the time. Okay. So let's imagine that I go to Google Maps. Okay.
Okay.
And here I am. I'm in Seattle, and I'm right here by this blue dot. Okay.
Okay.
Here's in Seattle. So let's imagine that I'm looking to see what Porto looks like. Okay.
Okay.
So I then come up with this map of Porto. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But let's imagine that I wanted to share that map with you. Okay.
Okay.
I can type SL for send link, and that's going to take that link and it's going to put that inside Outlook ready to go. Okay.
Okay.
And then I'm going to send that. So what I've just done is I've shared something with you in about 7 or 8 seconds, as compared to grind through all this stuff, trying to remember what the URL is for Google Maps, whatever, click an icon. I read all this stuff online. So I type NYT and I'm at the New York Times. Okay. So here's the headlines of the New York Times today. Let's say I'm a foodie. Okay. And the New York Times has this big section on food. I'm going to take that URL,
Okay.
and I'm going to drag it to ActiveWords.
Oh, that's what is my next question. How you create it?
Yeah. And so I'm going to say, okay. And hopefully I don't, hopefully I haven't duplicated this demo too many times. Yeah. So now if I'm thinking, let's eat, okay. We're at the New York Times.
Can we take a look at the ActiveWords and how we set it up? So, because that was pretty interesting. You just dragged it there.
Just drag and drop. So in any app, anytime, anywhere, I can type the word add. Okay.
Okay.
And it's going to bring up what we call our add wizard. And when you left click here, it brings down all those things. So let's say, for example, I want to launch a program. Best practice is have the app open, click on the button called current. It's going to take me through to the executable.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so I can call this VNP for Vlad Notepad. Okay.
Okay.
I must have this as an ActiveWord someplace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, but that's how simple it is.
Okay. So what is the trigger on the right there?
The trigger on the right is either double space or any delimiter being single space. Okay.
Okay.
And or a number. But I'll give you an example. So for 15 years, I used the word Word to launch Word.
Okay.
Word launches Word. And then one day, and I would type W-O-R-D space, and it would launch Word.
Okay.
And one day I was looking at this and I thought, that's stupid. Why isn't it just WD space and Word's open?
Mm-hmm.
Why type 4 keystrokes when I can type 2? So let's go back to Evernote for a moment.
Okay.
So we created an ActiveWord that has what we call an input box. Okay, so there's all my notes in Evernote about wine. Okay, so I've gone from nowhere. Okay, search Evernote, and I've gone wine, and I'm now back inside Evernote, and I have all my notes around wine.
So how did you do that?
Well, how I did that was very simple. I wrote an ActiveWord that does all the things necessary to invoke that input box and to execute a search. And if you go to activewords.com, AWHP, and you go over here to what we call add-ins, and you scroll down here, you're going to find that we built these ActiveWords for Evernote.
Okay. You can just copy. Can you click there so people can take a look at that?
You just click on it and they'll self-insert. Okay. What I've realized is in Evernote, the 80-20 paradigm is the 3 or 4 things you do. So I'm playing with Evernote the other day, and I realized that somewhere inside Evernote are all the keyboard equivalents. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there's somewhere here. God knows where they're here. And I to create an active word called shortcut, SC for shortcut. So here's all the shortcuts in Evernote. Now, to get there, you hit Control / Okay.
Okay.
Now, how many people remember randomly the Control / takes you to the keyboard shortcuts inside Evernote? Like, I'll raise your hand. Like, the answer is 0. And it's 0. It's 0 because it's not how we as humans think. And so when I look at that little script, it's simply lowering the control key down, / letting the control key up, and just giving it a name.
So I mean, this is one of the scripts that people can download from that website. Okay.
Yeah, let's go back to food.
Okay.
And let's go and say, oh my God, here is a recipe for cherry pie. Okay. All good. So I decide that I want to send this link to my friend Judith. Okay. And I also want to put it into Evernote.
Okay.
So there's my Evernote email address. So I'm going to type SM for send mail, which is simply Control Enter. Now, Judith gets the recipe and she goes, oh, you want some cherry pie? Hey. And I said, yeah, I'd love some cherries. Cherries are fresh now here in Seattle. But in the meantime, that's sitting inside Evernote.
Yes.
And I'm just going to put it in my food notebook because I don't have to say, oh God, where is that recipe? I just have to say, yeah, guess what? It's inside Evernote.
Okay, let me just explain that for people that don't know. Evernote has an email address that you can use to send information to that address. That's what he just did. He emailed himself that information.
And oh, by the way, Evernote email address is text expansion. So what are the chances I'm going to remember that? Okay, the chances are 0. Because it means nothing to me. But I can be in Gmail, okay, which is the mother of all spam buckets. But I can be in Gmail, and I can compose an email in Gmail, and I can send it to Evernote email address, and it works there too.
Okay.
It's about equipping you with the tools you need to do this thing called work. Work is about adding value. It's about solving problems. It's about getting stuff done. So we talked about apps.
Okay. So what is Launch Windows Store apps? What is that? What's the difference there?
Microsoft has a store.
Okay.
And the store is full of apps. These are single-purpose tools that do stuff like this. So I can type calc. And when I show this off to people, they go, oh my God, where did you buy that? Where do I get that? And then I say, well, it comes with Windows. And then they say, where is it? And I think about the fact, Vlad, that we've done a bad job of evangelizing the power of ActiveWords. Well, Microsoft, with all the money in the world, I would say 90% of Windows users do not know that the calculator is inside Windows. Well, how did you get there? Well, I typed the word calc.
Okay. Calc is something that you created, or it comes with ActiveWords? Is set?
It's something I created.
Okay.
It could be add, subtract, multiply, divide.
Okay.
We don't care. What we care about, again, is giving you back 10, 15, 20, 30.
Okay, but my question is, if people don't even know that calculator is there, why would they create that? How would they come up with the idea?
They simply launch the Windows Ad Wizard, the ActiveWords Ad Wizard. They go launch Windows Store app.
Okay.
And they would look to see that we had indexed all of
Okay. That was my question. Okay. So they can choose any of them and just give it a keyword.
Yeah, just a name. Let's go back to the 8 things.
Okay.
So Windows Store apps. So how about a document? Every so often we talk to people and we make them sign an NDA. So I've just associated the word NDA space with open up our form.
Tell us how you did that.
I said add space. I went to open a document. I found the document and I named it.
Okay.
That's simple.
It is.
So the next idea is to open a folder.
Okay. Same idea.
Same idea. But with ActiveWords, I can drag this guy to ActiveWords.
Okay.
And I can call it Maps 2019.
So even if you weren't inside the window, you could just drag it to the floating icon there.
Just drag and drop.
Okay.
Just drag and drop. Nothing to it.
Folders.
URLs.
URL. You have shown us that.
And scripting. And then let's talk about content. I can come down here and I can type BB. Okay. Buzz Berkman. And then I can type _bold. Okay.
Okay.
And when I take this and drag this to ActiveWords, when we get to text, it's stripped away the bolding, italics, and
okay.
Okay. But if I copy this guy and go back to ActiveWords and go to content.
So you just did a Control-C.
Right.
Control-C, Control-V. Okay.
So now inside substituting content,
oh, I see.
I have all the rich text. This is the part of it where I showcase my dog. Okay? So I have taken a picture of my dog, Lucy, and I've dragged and dropped it into substitute content. But let's go back to the New York Times, okay? And let's find a random picture, okay? Here's the Supreme Court, okay? So I'm going to copy the image.
Okay.
I'm going to go to ActiveWords. I'm going to paste the image. Subcourt, okay? And I'm going to save it. And so now if I'm back in a Word document, what did I call it?
Okay, there it is.
There it is.
Okay, where is your dog and where is this picture now?
So when you install ActiveWords, this guy is floating on the screen. And the reason why it's floating on the screen is because we're showing you every keystroke you type. Okay. And the reason why we're doing that is we're trying to hammer into your head that you're typing the same repetitive tasks over and over and over and over. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what we want you to do is to stop, think for a second, and say, "Oh, wait, what? I can turn this into an ActiveWord." So when you install ActiveWords, if you right-click on ActiveWords, you get all our controls, and it's very, very, very granular. And the most important control, I think, is syncing. We've designed ActiveWords so that you can sync to the cloud and sync to computers 2 through N. So every computer works the same. Secondly, if your computer blows up or your laptop is stolen or whatever, your ActiveWords are just waiting for you to come back to get them. When you right-click on ActiveWords monitor icon, you get all the controls, okay?
Okay.
When you left-click, you get all your ActiveWords. I can see all my ActiveWords, and I can see the long tail of usage for the ActiveWords I have.
So you can go there and delete something.
Yeah. We know with some degree of certainty that if you download a copy of ActiveWords and either give you one or you buy one, that there's a 94% chance that you're going to renew year after year after year. And I tell the story about waking up one Monday morning here in Seattle, beautiful day, and I look at my phone, I look at my computer, and my phone is lit up with calls and voicemail messages, and my email box is full of emails from an insurance agency in Los Gatos, California, which is in Silicon Valley.
Uh-huh.
And I start listening to these voicemail messages, and the voicemail messages are, "Our computers no longer work." And I go, "Oh my God, what did we do?" And then I sorted, and I realized that the woman whose job it was to renew the annual license took off and took an extended week of vacation and didn't bother to put in the credit card. And the next thing I know, I'm talking to the guy who runs the agency, and he says, why in the world don't you make your software auto-renew? Just charge our card. Just charge our card. We're paralyzed without your app. And I'm going, really? That's, really? I mean, what can I tell you? So everybody, go try ActiveWords and go try these tools and stuff like this. There's such value in them, and they're so useful and they're so important because in the meantime, until we win the lottery, all of us are still working.
Yes.
I mean, we can't be like Vlad, handsome young guy running this channel and communicating with people around the world. But
I wish.
Thank you very much, Vlad.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, we give you back the only thing you can't buy.
Yes, that's it. That's it. Thank you so much, Buzz.